If I had to start skateboarding completely from scratch, this is exactly what I would do. Okay, these are 5 steps that I'm gonna go through that's gonna help you progress in your skateboarding very, very fast. Okay, so the very first thing that I would do is I would set a schedule. This is very, very important. Now, before I even say this, I wanna emphasize skateboarding should be fun. That's gonna be a key emphasis of this whole video, in fact, but make sure you have fun. And I don't wanna have the idea of like, oh, I have to have a set schedule or a time when I'm going to practice or whatever you wanna call it. Take the fun out of it. So make sure that that doesn't happen. But it is very important that you set a schedule. I don't think that you have to skate for many hours every single day. 10 to 20 minutes a day would do it. But I do think that it is very important for you to skate for a little bit amount of time every single day, and I'll tell you exactly why. So when you very first start skateboarding, you're building up muscle memory, and you're getting your legs used to the board, you're getting the board feel, you're learning how that board is gonna feel under your feet and act and operate in different situations, different positions, different body weights, moving different directions. And if you go every day, you're gonna really start to build up those muscle memory. It's gonna really start to go very, very fast. It's super key, super important. So let's say you have 7 days in a week, right? So let's say you just skate on Saturday. And on Saturday, you go out for a healthy session, 2-hour session, full on. But in one Saturday, you do some tricks and you work a little bit on whatever tricks you're working on, and then you have a whole 6 days until you hit that Saturday again. Who knows how far you're gonna forget or what you're gonna not like catch up on in those days. Whereas if you were to take the same amount of time but break it up into let's do the least amount of time, 10-minute increments, because I'm sure you're very busy, I'm sure you have to work, and there's many things that you have going on. But let's say you just step into your garage for 10 minutes, and you have a set series of tricks that you're gonna do, which I'll go over, which is actually step 2, but you have a set series of tricks you're gonna do, and you just do those, and you work on that pattern for those 10 minutes, and then at the end of that 10 minutes, or 20 minutes is even better. Highly recommend 20 minutes, but if you only can squeeze in 10 minutes, just do that. Because you're getting on your board, you're getting comfortable, you're feeling refreshed, you're feeling like, okay, I got this. And also, if you just do little spurts, you're not gonna be like, oh, I went for 2 hours, I'm completely obliterated my legs, and like, now I can't even move the next day. I actually love sessions like that because it means you're really pushing hard. But if you're trying to progress fast, many small steps make it to progressing very, very fast. You're gonna progress faster like that skating every day for a little bit of time than you would if you skated one day for a huge chunk of a huge session. So that's the number one thing. I would set a schedule. Maybe it's sort of like a workout schedule. When you wake up, you do 10 minutes, or maybe before you go to bed, you do 10, 20 minutes, and then just get that in. Number 2 is that you're gonna work on a set series of tricks. So here's the list of tricks that I made from the bootcamp series and from the app. It's a really good list, and the whole point of it is that you're going from the easiest trick to a little bit harder, to a little bit harder, to a little bit harder. But you have to understand which trick is next and which trick to work on. It's very, very key, and it's very important, because you can hit this level where you go, okay, I learned to ollie, but I got really stuck on the kickflip. Well, in my list of tricks, there's ollie, frontside 180, backside 180, pop shove, front shove, heel flip, kickflip. So you have many tricks in between ollie and kickflip, and the whole idea is that you're building your muscle memory. You're building up every day how comfortable you are on that board. And so here is where it's really, really key. I think that this one little tidbit that I'm about to share is probably the key, most important thing here. When you set up, I'm gonna learn these tricks. Let's say you start skateboarding and your goal is to do a kickflip. Like many, many people, you set the goal, you wanna do the kickflip. It's a great goal to have. Many people have it. When you first start, which is the absolute hardest time, by the way, your very, very first steps, just learning to push, just getting comfortable on your board, you need to spend a lot of time on that. So these 10 tricks that I laid out are actually just steps for you to get more comfortable on that board. So every day you go and you have 10 or 20 minutes and you just work on the easiest trick on it. And then you go to the next one and you go to the next one. And if there's a part where you get stuck, go back and work on the prior one a little bit more and then carry forward from there. But every day you will be progressing. Every day you will be getting a little bit better. Every day you have something to work on. So the whole point of this system is that you're never not progressing. There should not be a day in there where you're like, today I got worse. I didn't feel good about it. It was terrible. I went out and all I did was fall. It should not be like that, because you're starting with the absolute easiest tricks and going a little bit harder and a little bit harder and a little bit harder. Where people actually have a hard time, and this is where most people quit skateboarding, is they go and they step on the board and then they go to a trick that's way too hard for them. They fall, injure themselves, and they're out. And a lot of times they're just like, well, I broke my wrist. Skateboarding's not for me. I don't have the natural talent or ability to ride a skateboard. I don't think that's true for anybody. It took me personally 6 months to learn how to do an ollie. Now, I didn't have YouTube, I didn't have TikTok, Instagram, and all these incredible tutorials that exist these days. So I didn't have any of that. I just had to figure out what was occurring, and I put a hose down and I just worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And the day I got that ollie, I was like, wow! I feel like I progressed really fast after that, but that first 6 months was brutal. It will not take you 6 months to learn how to do an ollie if you follow this system. So every day you're gonna skate, and every day you're gonna get a little bit better by just doing the tricks in this order and progressing through. It's a very systematic approach. It's a very exacting way that you're going to just improve every single day. And that ties right into point number 3. Every single time you go out and skate, and I mean every single time, you are going to end that session on an improvement. It does not matter how small. Let's say you go out and you are just in your very first day. I have to mention, in your very first day, helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, wrist guards. The last thing you want to do is just be pushing and hit a rock or hit a crack and slip and fall down and break your wrist or break your foot or anything like that. You don't want to do that.
That's what I'm saying!
Wear all the protective gear available and be safe. Okay, so point number 3, always end on an improvement. So let's say you go out, you're pushing, you're riding around, and then you get to the kick turn, and you're trying to do the kick turn and you're just having a terrible time, and you're not sure where to throw your shoulders, where to look in your eyes, and you're not sure, and you're having a hard time. Well, you would not end the session there. You just simply wouldn't. You would go back to the earlier step, which you're good at, which is just pushing, and you would just push around. And you might even go, all right, I feel a little more comfortable pushing today than I did yesterday. That's where you end. Because skateboarding is a mental battle. And the second it gets into your head that you're not improving, you're not getting any better, you're going to start doubting yourself, and you're going to start going, maybe this is not for me, maybe I can't do this, and that is canceled. You absolutely do not want to do that. Every day you're going to progress, every day you're going to get a little bit better, and your mentality is going to be that you improved. And you always want to end a session where you did feel that you improved, because that's going to make you want to pick up the board the next day. So again, back to step number 1, on the schedule, if you have a day where you're like, oh, this is just terrible, then the next day, it's gonna be really hard for you to get out there. It's gonna be really hard for you to pick up the board. But if you end every session on an improvement, you're gonna feel good, and then better, and then bestest, and then bestest of the mostest of the bestest. Whatever is better than bestest. You see, the whole point is that every day you're improving your muscle memory, you're improving your mentality of like, I can skateboard, I'm gonna do this is gonna be awesome. You're just improving every single day. That is the whole point. That's the way this system is built. And that's what I would do if I started skateboarding from scratch right now. Just those 3 steps alone, I guarantee you, would make me progress very, very fast. Because it's those days where you're like, I suck at this, I can't do this, it's too hard. Those are the days that really, really hold you back. So you can avoid that at all possible if you just do the tricks in the correct order, and you always end every session on, wow, I got a little bit better. Step number 4 is you're always going to work on the next hardest trick. Never just go out and push, and you're just pushing, and then you're just pushing forever, and then that's all you're gonna be. You're gonna be stuck at pushing. But the next trick up from that will be the stop, and then you've got some other tricks that are going into the next level. So what you wanna do is you wanna start out every single session with all of the tricks. Let's say you went through the first 10 tricks on the list. You don't start your next session with trick 11. You start it with trick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you work on trick 11. And if you cannot do trick 11, go back to trick 10, go back to trick 9, do some tricks you're good at, have an improvement, then end. And then the next day, run through all of those again. It's very, very important that every single day you go, you run through all of the tricks that you can do, because skateboarding, every motion, it is all built upon muscle memory. You are just moving your leg in a certain position, you're moving your foot in a certain position, and you can repeat that motion as many times as necessary to learn that muscle memory. But the best way to learn is to do the tricks. Repeat the tricks as many times as necessary. You know, you see these people that are out there skateboarding and you see them doing kickflips effortlessly. And think about, you know, I've been skateboarding for 30 years. The kickflip is the trick that I do the most, the absolute most. How many times have I done a kickflip? It's countless. Thousands, tens of thousands, so many thousands of kickflips, it's unfathomable. So I have that muscle memory built in so well, I can do it blindfolded. I could do it anywhere. I don't even need to know where my board is. I can pop it, flick the board, catch it with my back foot and land without looking, because I've drilled that muscle memory in so much. So every day you're gonna skate. Every day you're gonna do the full list. And then you're always gonna work on the next hardest trick, because you always wanna be pushing yourself to the next limit, to what you cannot do, and try to push yourself to be a little better every single day. So just imagine if you set that schedule and you set it out, it's gonna take determination. It's not gonna be easy. Some days you're gonna be tired, you're not gonna wanna do it, but you have to go out there and just do it. Which takes me into step number 5, and the most important step: always have fun. Skateboarding is a fun activity. It is an activity that is fast, it is exciting, it is fun. When you first start out, the slowest push can be the most fast, exciting, fun thing, even though you're actually going really slow with your helmet, knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, everything is all set up and you're safe. But when you do that push and you step on the board, it's exhilarating. Every trick that you land, when it's your absolute first time you ever landed it, it is awesome. So if you never go, I learned all these tricks, now I'm gonna push myself to do this next one, you're never going to be improving. But you've gotta be improving. It's very, very important. It's vital that you're taking that step and pushing it forward and going into that next one. It's key, so always have fun. And there might be some tricks that you go, oh, I got really good at the ollie. Ollie's my thing. I'm gonna ollie everywhere. You know, there are professional skateboarders that are really, really good at ollies. And what do? They ollie over high things, they ollie over drops, they ollie here, they ollie there, they ollie everywhere. You could do that. Or you got really good at frontside 180s and they were just really fun to you, so you just did that everywhere. But you also don't want to limit yourself, because sometimes people be like, well, I'm good at frontside 180, so I'm not gonna learn backside 180. No, you should learn them all. You should be well-rounded and learn them all. And this system, if you use it correctly and do it every day, learn all of those tricks in the appropriate order, and always push yourself to be a little bit better. Never end a session where you felt like, oh, this sucks, or skateboarding sucks, or I don't know if this is for me. That's just not where you end. You just never end there. Always, always, always have fun. If you skate with these things in mind and you set up and you're a brand new skater, these are the kind of things that nobody talks about. They don't say, you know, you go to the skate shop and you get your first deck. They don't say, hey, set a schedule, here's the list of tricks, work on these in this order and try to do this. And you might think, oh, this system takes the fun out of skateboarding. Well, I hope not. If it takes the fun out of skateboarding, throw it away, rip it up, don't do it. Because the most important thing is to have fun. But I bet that you will have the most fun when you're actually progressing and learning new tricks very fast. You know, your friends are gonna be at the skate park and you're gonna show up like a month later and you're gonna play them a game of skate and you're gonna beat everybody. And they're gonna be like, how did you get so good? And you're like, don't worry about it. But truthfully, you've been in your garage every day for 10 to 20 minutes following a list of tricks that goes from the easiest trick to a little bit harder, to a little bit harder, to a little bit harder. You're getting well-rounded You're getting very comfortable on your skateboard to the point where you can do any of those tricks without even thinking about it because the muscle memory is so drilled into your muscles that you just got it. And then when your friend does the kickflip, you just got the kickflip like that. I hope this helps somebody out there. I hope this helps some beginner skateboarders absolutely crush your progression. I would absolutely love to see your progression videos. If you guys make them, do 1 week progression, 2 week progression. I also really recommend that because mentally it can be really good for you. Because if you ever get into a position in skateboarding where you're like, I just don't feel like I'm progressing, you have those videos, you can look back, and it's amazing to see where you are now from where you come from, and that can really, really help you. So have a blast out there. I hope you guys enjoy learning how to ride a skateboard, and I hope I can help you to make this journey as awesome as it can be. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment below, and you, yes you, learn to ride a skateboard. We got everything you need at brailleskateboarding.com.